My name is Rachel, and today I had a snow day, and snow days are the best days in the world. I just kind of got to have an extra day off work, which was fantastic. I got some extra sleep, I got some extra things done, and I decided to make an original tag about snow days. So here is the snow day book tag. So first up is the hopeful feeling that you have. You're hearing all of this buzz about the weather and you're just fingers crossed. So for this, we're going to name a book that we hear a lot of buzz about, and we're hoping that we enjoy as much as the hype is. And for me, that book is Children of Blood and Bone by Tomi Adeyemi. I've had this book forever, and I even started it. I just wasn't in the mood to read it, if that makes sense. So I'm going to put it on hold for a little while and get back into it, but I really, really want to love this book. So I am very, very hopeful that all of the hype comes through for this book. Next is the excitement of the announcement of the snow day. When you pick up that phone and they tell you, just go on back to bed, honey. We do not have school today. You are just so excited. And for this, we're going to name a book that we have been anticipating since the announcement. For me, this is probably Stay Sexy and Don't Get Murdered by Karen Kilgariff and Georgia Hardstart. They do a podcast called My Favorite Murder that I am a big fan of, and I am just very, very excited to see what this book looks like. And I was so lucky to get an ARC, and I'm reading it right now, and I'm really, really enjoying it. I can't wait for the full book to be published. I'm super excited for this one. I think anybody who loves the podcast is going to just absolutely love this book. Number 3 is Back to Bed. Once you know that you do not have to go into school and you can just turn your alarm off and just snuggle back down in the covers and go back to bed. It's fantastic. So for this, it's going to be a book that you've just been putting off, like getting out of bed on a snow day. For me, I have been putting off reading pretty much anything by Sarah J. Maas. I don't know what it is with her, but I don't know. I have a couple of them on my shelf because I've heard great things about them and I do want to read them. But every time I go to pick them up, I'm like, I'm just not feeling it. So I just keep putting them off. But one of these days I'm going to get to it. One of my goals this year of 2019 is to read A Court of Thorns and Roses. I'm going to get to it this year. 2019 is going to be my year for that book. Number 5 is PJs All Day. I am in my PJs right now as we speak. Have not gotten out of them all day. It is a fantastic feeling. For this, it's going to be just a comfortable book that you just keep revisiting and you could just stay in forever. For me, I picked the Georgia Nicholson Diary series. I have read all 10 of these books. I've reread many of them several times. They're fantastic. It's a diary of this little British girl, and she is just a riot. She is so funny. Even as an adult, I find it very relatable. I remember having similar problems when I was younger. Because I have a love-hate relationship with my own eyebrows, and Georgia ends up shaving one of them off on accident, maybe even both of them. And I still remember that scene in that book. Is fantastic. I love it. That series is amazing. I go back to it all the time. Next up is All Warm Inside. On snow days, the inside of your house is always really warm and cozy. And for this, it's a book that warmed your heart, warmed you on the inside. And for this, I went with a graphic novel that I read I think it was 2 years ago. It's called Soppy by Philippa Rice. As you can tell from the title, it's all just a soppy little story of love, and it is just the cutest thing. It's so heartwarming and adorable, and I just love it. It's makes you feel all warm and butterflies. It's fantastic. Next is Cold Outside. If it's gonna be super cold and super snowy, I just stay inside. But when it's not too bad like today, I do venture out. But either way, it's super cold outside on snow days. So for this one, just mentioning a book that is set in a cold climate. And for this, I have 2 picks. One is the Wolves of Mercy Falls series, particularly Shiver by Maggie Stiefvater. I know a lot of people on BookTube do not like this series, but it's kind of like my guilty pleasure. I love it. And I actually don't feel that guilty about it. The premise, if you're not aware, involves werewolves that are affected by the weather. The weather, as opposed to the moon, is what causes them to change. And I really like it. And every time I think of like cold weather, I think of this book. So it just goes hand in hand for snow days with me. The other one that I would like to mention here is Between Shades of Grey by Ruta Sepetys, which it has recently been reissued with a new cover and a new title, and I believe it is called Ashes in the Snow. I always get them backwards. Ashes in the Snow, in preparation, I believe, for the movie coming out. I think the movie is going to be called Ashes in the Snow, and if you have not read this yet, it's fantastic. It's kind of like the Lithuanian version of the Holocaust, dealing with Stalin as opposed to Hitler, and it is gut-wrenching, but it is fantastic. It's really well done. I really, really recommend it. I read it with my high school book club, and those girls absolutely love this book. Fantastic, and obviously very much set in the snow. They're sent to Siberia, which is very, very snowy. So if you were looking for a wintry, snow-based read, I would highly recommend Between Shades of Grey, or, as they're calling it now, Ashes in the Snow by Ruta Sepetys. Next up is the TV marathon. I always end up watching some sort of show on repeat, basically all day on my snow days, instead of doing whatever else I should be doing. Usually it's true crime related, like the ID channel. I just watch ad nauseum on my snow days. So for this, it's a book series that you just can't quit. So for this one, I also picked two book series rather. The first one is The Bad Guys by Erin Blavey. This is fantastic. I'm not going to go into much detail because I mention it all the time on my channel, but my students love the series. It's a juvenile graphic novel series about animals typically portrayed as bad guys, and they're trying to save the world, and it's hilarious and silly, and it's so much fun. I love the series, and I read the new one every time it comes out. I think we usually get 2 a year, and I'm on it. As soon as that book comes out, I pick it up and I read it and add it to my collection. And last but not least is the anticipation of the next snow day. At the end of a snow day, you're always like, this was fantastic. When are we going to do it again? So for this, it's your most anticipated read of 2019. And for me, I'm going to go with, again, two, because I just really can't ever make up my mind. So the first one is a young adult contemporary by Sandhya Menon. This is There's Something About Sweetie. This is the third book by Sandhya Menon coming out. This features Ashish and Sweetie, who were mentioned in Sandhya Menon's first book, which was When Dimple Met Rishi. It's not a direct follow-up, but it's kind of how they do sequels in romance novels, where this one switches focus to other characters within this kind of world, within this realm. So it's not really a direct series, but it does tie in, and I'm super excited for it. I've read the other two books that she's come out with and absolutely love them. They're just adorable contemporary romances, and they're fantastic. Another one that I'm really highly anticipating this year is Finale by Stephanie Garber. This is the third and final book in the Caraval series, which I've thoroughly enjoyed, and I am really excited to see how this is all going to wrap up. What is going to happen to them? How is their story going to end? So I'm super excited for those two. Can't wait to read them. There's so many others, though, new books coming out in 2019 that I'm excited for, but those are two. So there you have it, the Snow Day book tag. Thank you so much for watching, and absolutely feel free to try this tag. I don't even know who to tag, so tag, you are officially it. Do the Snow Day book tag if you so desire, especially if you are in a cold weather climate. If you've got snow on the ground outside, this will be really fun to see what people pick. So thank you for watching. I will see you again in another video. Bye for now.